Tighten Up, the podcast, is brought to you by Hyperice, the leading provider of innovative technology for recovery, mobility, and improved performance. They help the Titans. They can help you too. Learn more online at hyperice.com.
Detroit, it's time to tighten up. Welcome to Tighten Up, the podcast, presented by the Shield NIL. Brought to you by Hyperice and Last Shot Energy. A state of the Titans, the latest in Detroit Mercy athletics, and a chance to hear from Titans all over the world. Here's your host, Dan Hasty.
Quick little back-to-back shows here on Tighten Up, the podcast. Finishing January strong, if you will. Hi, everybody. Dan Hasty, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us for a couple of days here on Tighten Up. We've got a whole lot more coming here in the next couple of weeks as we get down the home stretch of conference season for men's and women's basketball. We'll check in with the women's team here in the next couple of weeks. Love to do that. We'll also check in with Ryan Callambay of Titans Ford, who just pulled home his first ever Horizon League award. He was awarded Freshman of the Week, so congratulations to Ryan. Also hoping to check in on some future Titans in shows ahead. In just a moment, we're going to give you part two of our conversation with Titans freshman forward TJ Nadeau. But first, it's now time for one of my favorite segments here on Tighten Up. And now, let's jump right into it.
Titan Trackdown.
That's right, Titan Trackdown. This time, we tracked down men's lacrosse. The head coach, Charlie Hayes, checked in with us, and we thank Charlie for doing that. Coach Hayes able to tell us a little bit about what's going on with men's lacrosse this season. And there's obviously so many great things going on around Detroit Mercy Titans athletics, but their team entering a whole new chapter and an era of men's lacrosse. And it starts with Coach Charlie Hayes. In his first season as head coach, obviously, it's a very important time for any program, but we wish the best to Charlie Hayes as he continues to put the pieces together as they see fit. For those who don't know Charlie, he is a professional lacrosse player in the PLL. He's continuing his pro career while coaching. He also played for Detroit Mercy from 2015 to 2018. He's been an assistant coach since 2018, but it made all the sense in the world for Charlie Hayes to take over that position when it came open. Zach Palmer, one of his assistants, a college standout at Johns Hopkins University, one of the great lacrosse schools in the country. He's entering his first season on staff. Two of their current players, Julian Greendeer and Marcus Thundercloud, have recently made the under-20 Haudenosaunee national team. They began practice about a month ago. They've gotten a chance to scrimmage the back-to-back national champs, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, in an exhibition game. And then they get to open up the regular season against Ohio State on February the 4th. So best of luck to Charlie Hayes in his first year as head coach for men's lacrosse. And we have officially tracked down men's lacrosse here on Tighten Up. And with that, let's get back into it. It is part two of our two-part conversation with Titans guard TJ Nadeau, already averaging nearly double figures per game as a freshman. And predominantly, he's been coming off the bench. So if that's any indication of what the future looks like for TJ Nadeau, lots of good things in store for this product of Detroit Catholic Central. Part two of our conversation starts right now here on Tighten Up, presented by the Shield NIL. So tell me about what this experience has been like for you this season. You've had a chance to get a lot of minutes. You've had a chance to play. I would imagine you've played about as much as you could have anticipated or hoped to have played this season. What's this experience been like for you?
It's been very motivating, to always want more. And it's crazy to think like that. But, you say it as a freshman, it's so impressive to average, 8 points per game, whatever it is. And to me, it's just like, I'm hitting those marks that are technically great numbers. But it's like I I continue to want more, and I feel like I can do more. And it just motivates me to get better, to get in the gym more, to kind of cultivate my game in a way so I can go out there and I know I can do those things and just continue to work for it, to never be satisfied is a very good area to be at. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And just very blessed to be in this opportunity.
You know what I'm grateful for? I believe it's you, Nate Johnson, and Ryan Callambay. You are the 3 players that have played all 22 games this year. I'm very, very proud of the 3 of you because it's been hard to keep everybody on the floor this season. So when it comes to this year, I know that you've obviously had a lot of opportunity and you're learning things as you go, but getting a chance to play and getting a chance to get those reps, especially as a freshman. It's funny that it's all freshmen, Nate, Ryan, you. What's getting easier for you as the season's going on? Is it the verbiage? Is it the plays? What's coming a little bit easier to you now that was a little bit tougher early on?
I'd say, the biggest part that's coming easier is just, the pressure to play to Division I level, right? It doesn't feel like it's there anymore. I can just kind of go out there and I know what I'm capable of and I know I can do it. So I don't have to really, worry about doing it anymore. Before you have a lot of tight situations and games and you play against very good players all across the board. And I'd say the biggest game that really just kind of woke me up was when we played Wake Forest, and I was able to go compete and play at a high level against those guys, and that's ACC. Wake Forest having a great year right now. They almost just beat Duke, and to know that that's the highest level there really is in college basketball, and I'm right there doing it. So it kind of just woke me up to say, if I can do that day, I can do it any day, and that just gives me a little bit more confidence.
Especially for freshmen, there's almost like there has to be a moment early in a season or at any point, honestly, but hopefully it comes early in a season where you almost kind of have to show yourself that you belong. And usually that can't come in practice. I mean, yeah, you can have good practices, but it only really comes when you're going up against guys that you don't go up against every day in the gym. Was there a game, was there a moment where you said, okay, my game translates to this level?
Yeah, I would say Loyola Chicago. That was our second game into the season, first real competition we played. And I just remember getting in, and I'm handling the ball, I'm doing good on defense, right? Just kind of playing at the speed everyone's playing at, and I get the ball at the top of the key and I, looking to pass, right? Because, I'm still kind of second game of the season, first real team we're playing here. And I look to pass and there's just no pass available. So I just go between the legs and I dribble up and then I kind of went into a midi pull up and just hit it, first shot of the game for me. And it just really was like, okay, you know what? I'm here. And I really enjoyed that moment because it was just like, this game, it all means so much to me. And the fact that I know I'm actually here doing it, it was just a blessing.
Yeah, it really does allow you to take a breath. And, we make a lot of this idea that, you were grinding so hard at Detroit Catholic Central. And it's like, it wasn't just Detroit Mercy that was the only school that was on you. It's not the case. I mean, you had interest from a lot of different places. Now, it's with varying degrees of interest, but Bowling Green was there. Arkansas was there. USC was there. MSU was there. Take us through some of the other scenarios that you had to work through before it ended up being Detroit Mercy.
The biggest part of college, is just everyone, if you have the opportunity to cheat the system, I always like to say, not paying for college is one of the best benefits you could possibly get. And I saw that opportunity here when he offered me a full ride to play here. And that really just secured my thinking, and the other schools were all great schools and places that interest me, but just the level of academics at the school and the business program, as great as it is, which is what I'm going into, it really just was a no-brainer for me to be able to get an amazing education on top of a free degree for it. So, those parts just really sold me. And all the schools, they all have things to offer. They all have benefits, and every school has something that they can sell you. But at the end of the day, you got to count your blessings and see what you really want, and what you want after college is super important as well. So I look to set myself up not just for basketball, but hopefully for after basketball.
And they always say it's not just what you know, it's also who you know. And we mentioned Michigan State, and from the sound of it, Mark Montgomery, who was at Michigan State during that time, may have had something to do with that. So What was the commonality? What was the link between Monty when it was MSU and then how it turned into Monty when he became Detroit Mercy's coach?
Well, Monty came to one of my high school games, watched me play, and showed an interest. And I went up to MSU to take a visit, and that was an amazing experience. It's a great school up there as well. And then he ended up leaving the program, Detroit Mercy's head coaching job, and he got that. And I was able to come down here, and I wanted to check it out for myself because Detroit Mercy never recruited me. They never recruited a lot of players out of Michigan in general, especially the high school level. So I never really came over here unless it was for Catholic League play. But, when I came over here to play for basketball, it was just the gym. You don't get to see the campus. You don't really get to know a lot of the actual details about the school itself. So when I came over here to visit, it was a very good experience, and I got to see the campus, which is a beautiful area. And it really sold me a little bit more than what I thought, because I had so few knowledge of the school itself. And that just really sold me once I got here, especially having a coach who, reached out and was at my games and just meant a little bit more to me.
Do you feel the impact, or does it feel like you've got a bunch of teammates that play, or at least that are from the state of Michigan? Because, just counting up the number on the roster, 10 of your players, 9 of your teammates are from the state of Michigan.
Yeah, it really does. And, we all kind of played against each other maybe at some point, or, knew each other from some sort of basketball related area. I personally would always play at Eastern, and I'd play against Orlando and Legend there for a few years to come. So I knew them before they even ended up coming here. And just kind of like those little small connections and, those little details that kind of add up, where it's like I kind of know you, and then you get to meet them and create that, brotherhood type of feeling when you come here. And we're very close with each other, I feel like, and we all have great connections with one another.
Do you have any memories about playing against guys like Orlando or Legend?
Yeah. We played pickup ball, and it was always just fun. We'd all go at it, for a couple hours, just getting up and down the court. Orlando always kind of being who he is, just a good athlete, good player, and always talking a little bit of smack there and there. But it was fun. It was very enjoyable, and I always loved going there and playing and competing against them, and just a full circle moment to be able to be playing with them now.
Who talks the best trash on the team?
Orlando, no doubt. He always tries to pin it on the other people, but we all know it's him.
Talk to me about Monty. Now that you've had a pretty good chunk of time with him this year, what's his impact been, and what have you learned about while playing for him?
He likes the fine details. He likes to see you work. He wants to know you're in the gym. Wants to know you're getting in the extra time. You're getting to the treatment room, getting whatever you need for your injuries to get better. And, you put in the work each day, it's going to add up. And it's really truthful at the same time, And he really inspires us to go do that and pushes us for that. He's a great coach that, I enjoy playing for, and pushes us hard in practice. And he has his methods that we all try and trust as best we can, and we try and do that in the court. And when we do, we win. So just kind of taking what he's preaching and going with it.
I know it's been a little bit of a tough road the last couple of weeks. You've been without guys like Jared Larry and Mac Mansell, and it's been a little bit tough in that way. You guys got off to a good start. I mean, you're 5-5 to begin the season through your first 10. Tell me a little bit about what your favorite memories have been to this point in terms of the games themselves.
I thought some of my favorite memories was going to Eastern. I think winning that game was just that was awesome. It was an awesome experience for most of the team because they got a few guys that left Eastern to come here, including staff. That was a school that recruited me growing up, and that was just a nice win for all of us to be able to go over there and take care of business. Beating Niagara in double overtime was also a huge win for us to kind of break that so-called curse of losing and really do it against a real team. And then kind of from there, we kept rolling, and we still had injuries after that, and we still won with injuries after that. And it's not really about what you lost or what you got. So we're just kind of going to keep rolling with the punches here, and we're not giving up, And at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is coming down to that tournament. You see it every year. You can go undefeated season. If you lose the first game in the tournament, it really doesn't mean much. That's what it really comes down to. So we're just really prepping ourselves mentally to get ready to battle, get ready to be ferocious. And I think we can do that.
Tighten Up is brought to you by Last Shot Premium Hydration, the official hydration drink of Tighten Up, the podcast. Their revolutionary formula is jam-packed with vitamin B12 and 0 grams of sugar. It helps the Titans hydrate, replenish, and recover. Try it at Callahan Hall during a Titans game or learn more at lastshotofficial.com.
And to your point, when you're such a young team, I mean, let's be honest, the majority of your team is young. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, you have a very, very young nucleus. And next season, it's still going to be a young nucleus. And the thing about these young cores is that what do they tend to do? They tend to peak later in seasons. So it's completely within the realm of possibilities that you guys start to go like this. You guys start to ascend later in the seasons, and you guys have these games coming up later in the year that are winnable. I'm not going to say who I think those games are against, but I think you guys have some winnable games here coming up. But look, I mean, it's not crazy to say that, there are some games that based on who you guys have and even some of the others. I mean, we've already seen you beat Purdue Fort Wayne. I mean, that win looks better and better and better based on what Purdue Fort Wayne has been able to do. And that win alone just probably, even to you guys, probably shows your potential.
Yeah. Two of the teams that we beat in this league right now are both very good teams beating everyone. So it just shows what we are capable of. I think, that's a big thing. At a certain point, it's not about just competing or showing what you're capable of, but going out there and doing it too. We still have that time on our table to be able to change the circumstances we're in right now. And I think we got a great week to come up and do that. We're going up against best teams in the league right there with wire to wire. It's just about taking business at the end of the day and figuring out how to pull out a win. And we've done that before, and we can do that again. It's just a matter of time. So just kind of getting everything to flow, getting all the pieces. We go through spurts where it's a whole new lineup, guys are hurt, and then they come back, and just getting everything to gel, getting the whole system back where it's at. And that's where we're kind of coming to right now is we got everyone we need right now and just figuring out how to get that gel back and get this win streak going.
Give me a little bit of a rundown on some of the other freshmen that you've gotten a chance to play with this year, because there are just so many, but I know that there are some that are in your situation. So I want to go over a couple of these guys with you. I want to go with Grant Gonderzik first, because he's also, like you, been playing a good amount of minutes this year. Give me an idea of what it's been like watching Grant.
He's a great player. He's a scorer. He knows how to get in the hoop. And I think that's something we all picked up very fast on. and he's just a great spark plug. You know, you go out there, you put him on the court. You know, a lot of times he's going to go get a bucket, and you know that's a good feeling to have, and trust in the person. And it's fun playing with someone who has such talent like that, and be able to go out there on the court and just have a little bit of faith in someone.
And much like you, comes from a basketball family. All right, next, Nate Johnson.
Nate is he's a hard worker, you know, and very determined, pushes himself, you know, and really wants the best for himself. And that's someone that you go on the court every single day with and never doubt what they're trying to do and never doubt them, because they work for it, you know, and they push themselves in every way possible. Someone that inspires other people. And, you know, he's a very good person with great character that I love to be on the court with.
And in some ways, kind of a similar story to you with, you know, how much he grinded at the high school level and then all of a sudden had a break come his way for that opportunity that he was looking for at the Division I level. So you probably have some similarities with him, don't you? Ryan Calambay.
Calambay is he's very determined. You know, that's one word I would say. He kind of came from starting the season off, you know, with not high expectations. Very similar to, honestly, some of us, you know. And he just has been really playing his best basketball as of late. And it shows, and time comes, and he's worked for that. So I'm just glad to see that it's paying off for him. And it's someone that, you know, you can go out there and you can give the ball to and, you know, hope that he's going to do what he can, and because he's prepared himself.
Chase Kuiper.
Me and Chase actually played AAU together in high school. So I've known him for a long time, and I just always knew what he could do, and just a very solid, well-rounded person that works hard every single day. You know, everyone knows him for that. He was always dedicated in the weight room, just, you know, the person that never really makes too many mistakes. You know, that's kind of what he prided himself on. And when he comes out there, we all know he's going to go get offensive rebound. He's going to crash hard. He's going to play hard. And that's the person you love being next to, because it makes you work hard as well with him. He pushes you to go a little bit more.
Steven Okoro.
You know, he's a very interesting player. The fact that he just goes out there and he's just a brick wall. You know, you can't go through him. He's just a strong man that goes out there, works hard, you know, rebounds extremely well, and prides himself on it. And it's definitely nice having him out there, because I don't have to get in there and do all the dirty work as much if he's in there.
Yeah, I'm kind of fascinated to see what Steven Okoro looks like a year from now, 2 years from now. But him and then this player and the last one of the freshman group, Miles Mitchell.
Miles is he's a funny guy, and I love hanging out with him, being with him. He's a real spark plug when he comes in. You know, he's a great dunker, and he gets to the right spots and rebounds at a high level and impacts the game for us. And I think he's a crucial part of our team that, you know, makes an impact when you need it the most.
So I wanted to give you a shout out for this before we go, because it is not easy to do this. You made the athletic director's honor roll. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is hard. I mean, it is not easy. You know, at Detroit Mercy, academics are a little bit of a different animal than at other schools. And we talked before we got on the air, and you mentioned that you're going after your MBA. Is that right?
Yep.
All right. So tell me a little bit about the classes that you're taking and what you're learning.
Right now, I'm in world history and then geography as well. I'm taking statistics for math, and then I have like a sort of like an English class that's also been interesting. But just kind of figuring out them all to start off the semester, you know, it's fun. I like my business law class. You know, that's a very interesting class that kind of teaches you a little bit more about the whole government system, but they're all coming off to a good start, and they're very interesting classes that really prepare you. And it's easier for me as a student to actually focus on it and want to get a good grade in those classes, because, you know, it's what I want to do with my life. So if I'm not paying attention, then I'm probably not going to be any good at my job. So that's kind of where it just kind of makes a little bit more sense for me.
So 5 classes, that puts you around, what, 15 credits?
15 credits a semester.
Okay. And just for the record, so everybody knows this, we were talking last night and we were trying to schedule this, and TJ was in a class that was from 6:30 to 9 p.m. It is hard to schedule and get in classes that work with your basketball life and your basketball schedule. So props to you, TJ, for being able to make it work with also your other job, that is being a student athlete, because there are so many things that you guys have to balance when it comes to doing everything that you guys have to do. TJ, this has been awesome. We cannot thank you enough. Congratulations on a great start to your first season, and go get them down the stretch, and let's see how things end. And hopefully it ends on an upswing and it ends in some wins before the end of this season. TJ, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
That is TJ Nadeau right here on Tighten Up the Podcast. We've got more to come in this week. We've also got some more conversations coming up next week. And again, don't forget to follow me on X at that Dan Hasty. You can also follow me on Instagram at Dan Hasty. Don't forget to like or subscribe to the show. You can also rate the show, leave a comment as well. And I'll talk to you Titans of Industry next time. You can go to the shieldnil.org.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Tighten Up, the podcast. Join our community at The Shield on theshieldnil.org and follow us on X and Instagram at The Shield NIL.
If I can tell you one thing above all else as part of this show, it would be this. If you're unfamiliar, if you haven't done it before, join the community at The Shield Online. It's online at theshieldnil.org. That's theshieldnil.org.